In 1927, a lone plane crossed the wide Atlantic, the movies began to speak, and jazz carried dreams into the night. Let's drift back and see what the world felt like then. Hello dear dreamer, I'm Toro, and tonight I invite you to rest with me as we drift together into the soft currents of history. Our journey takes us back to the year 1927, a year filled with invention, art, and the small details of life that shimmer like starlight on calm water. The world of 1927 was alive with both continuity and change. Airplanes traced daring arcs across the sky, while cinemas flickered with stories that enchanted millions. Radios, once rare novelties, began humming in homes, connecting voices across distances. Yet life remained deeply familiar in its rhythms, meals prepared with care, evenings spent in conversation, mornings shaped by the rising sun and the sounds of work beginning. Tonight, we will wander gently through this year. We'll pause with the great events that shaped the world, but also linger in kitchens, in theatres, in small shops and city streets. Let your mind's eye picture the quiet colours of that time while your body relaxes deeper into rest. The year 1927 awaits us, steady, reflective, and full of gentle wonder. World events. In 1927, the world found itself moving with quiet determination, each region of the globe carrying stories of its own. In the United States, a young aviator named Charles Lindbergh lifted his small silver plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, from New York's Roosevelt Field and guided it across the Atlantic Ocean. 33.5 hours later, he touched down in Paris, greeted by a sea of astonished faces. His flight was not just a triumph of endurance, but a symbol of shrinking distances, of continents feeling closer together beneath the spread of wings. Meanwhile, in China, a period of turbulence and transition unfolded. The Northern Expedition, led by Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalist forces, pressed forward, aiming to unify the fractured nation. While headlines captured the political drama, ordinary citizens carried on, weaving through markets, tending small farms, and gathering around lanterns as twilight fell. In Britain, a quieter but significant step occurred, the founding of the British Broadcasting Corporation as a public institution. What had once been scattered radio experiments began to form into a steady voice, promising to bring news, music, and learning into countless homes. The airwaves, invisible yet powerful, stretched like threads of connection. Elsewhere, natural events left their marks. In Vermont, the Great Flood of 1927 overwhelmed rivers and valleys, carrying away bridges and filling streets with water. Yet even in hardship, communities joined together, neighbors lending hands and hope. And across the globe, nations continued to navigate the uneasy peace after the First World War. Treaties, conferences, and cautious dialogues sought to secure stability. The Kellogg-Briand Pact was still a year away, but the spirit of negotiation, of speaking rather than fighting, quietly threaded through the halls of diplomacy. 1927 was not marked by thunderous upheaval alone. It was, instead, a year of subtle weaving, of people finding new ways to connect, to build, and to dream across distances. Daily life around the world. If we wander slowly into the streets of 1927, the everyday details come alive. In cities, the hum of motorcars blended with the clip-clop of horse-drawn wagons still in use. Streetlights glowed softly, while neon signs began to appear, casting colourful reflections on rainy pavements. Men often wore felt hats and tailored suits, even for ordinary errands. Women's fashion, influenced by the spirit of the 1920s, leaned toward shorter hemlines, cloche hats, and dresses that moved easily with the rhythms of jazz. At home, kitchens carried the scent of bread rising in warm ovens. Many households still relied on iceboxes, though electric refrigerators slowly made their way into more middle-class homes. Breakfast might be porridge, toast with jam, or bacon and eggs sizzling gently in a pan. A loaf of bread cost about 10 cents in the United States, and a gallon of gasoline around 21 cents. Children found joy in simple games, marbles scattered across schoolyard dust, hoops rolled down streets, or kites tugging at strings on breezy afternoons. Comic strips and radio adventures captured imaginations, while wooden toys, dolls, and puzzles offered hours of gentle play. Travel remained an adventure. Steamships still carried many across oceans, while trains connected towns and cities with steady rhythm. In Europe, the Orient Express continued its luxurious journey from Paris to Istanbul, offering velvet seats, crisp linens, and a moving view of landscapes unfolding beyond the windows. In rural areas, life moved more slowly. Families tended gardens, raised chickens, and preserved food for the winter. Lanterns and early electric lights guided evenings, while community gatherings, dances, fairs, church socials brought warmth to the heart of village life. Magazines, like Good Housekeeping and Ladies. Home Journal offered recipes, household tips, and glimpses of modern style. Advertisements promised the wonders of new appliances, radios, vacuum cleaners, even washing machines. Many families dreamed of owning such conveniences, though for most, chores remained hands-on, steady, and familiar. As night fell, families often gathered around a piano or a radio, listening to soft melodies before bedtime. The world, though rapidly modernizing, still carried the comforting rhythms of close-knit daily life. Science, inventions, and technology. The year 1927 glowed with sparks of innovation. In medicine, researchers studied ways to better understand the invisible world of bacteria and viruses. The work of Alexander Fleming, who would soon discover penicillin, was already stirring change, though its full impact was still years ahead. Hospitals grew more advanced, and X-ray technology became a more trusted tool. Transportation captured imaginations. Beyond Lindbergh's flight, commercial aviation took small but steady steps. Airlines began offering scheduled services, though only the wealthiest or most daring traveled by plane. Automobiles, however, became more accessible. Ford's Model T continued to roll off assembly lines, offering a sturdy and affordable car for families. Electricity spread further into homes, bringing light to evenings and powering an expanding world of gadgets. Radio stations multiplied, and the number of receivers grew rapidly. By tuning a small dial, families could hear voices and orchestras from miles away, dissolving distances with a quiet crackle. Elsewhere, the moving picture industry leapt forward with the release of The Jazz Singer in October 1927. Though we will explore its cultural impact later, its technological significance cannot be overstated. The first feature-length talkie, combining images with synchronized dialogue and song, changing cinema forever. Even in the small details, innovation stirred. Nylon was not yet invented, but chemical research explored new materials. Typewriters clicked steadily in offices. Telephones connected more households, though many still shared party lines. The sound of a ring was both communal and personal, a reminder of connection in a still expanding network. Science. In 1927 did not roar loudly, but rather hummed like a gentle current. A steady stream of discovery and progress carrying humanity into the modern age. Culture and the arts. Art and culture in 1927 sparkled with creativity. In literature, Virginia Woolf published To the Lighthouse, a modernist masterpiece that flowed like memory and dream. Across the Atlantic, Ernest Hemingway's Men Without Women offered spare, poignant tales. Children delighted in A. Milne's Now We Are Six, another tender collection from the world of Winnie the Pooh. On stage, Broadway thrived. Musicals like Showboat, which had premiered the previous year, continued to enchant audiences with its groundbreaking blend of story and song. Music carried the pulse of jazz, spreading from Harlem to Paris, from smoky clubs to glittering dance halls. Louis Armstrong's trumpet rang bright, while Duke Ellington filled the Cotton Club with lush orchestrations. Popular songs like Ain't She Sweet and Blue Skies drifted from phonographs and radios, becoming the soundtrack of many homes. Cinema shimmered with glamour. Silent films still dominated, but with the jazz singer, audiences heard synchronized voices for the first time, Al Jolson speaking and singing directly to them. The wonder was immense, like a curtain lifting on a new era. Stars such as Clara Bow, the It Girl, embodied the spirit of youth and modern style, captivating millions. Sports also inspired. In America, Babe Ruth continued to hit home runs with astonishing ease, while boxing champions like Gene Tunney drew vast crowds. In Britain, football, soccer filled stadiums, while cricket carried its steady traditions across the Commonwealth. Everywhere, culture served as both escape and inspiration, a place where joy, creativity, and curiosity came together to lift spirits. Media and headlines. News in 1927 arrived by newspaper, radio, and word of mouth. Headlines told of Lindbergh's daring flight, of political shifts in China, of floods in America. Prices and advertisements filled the margins: a new Ford car for under $400, a men's suit for less than $20, a pound of coffee for 45 cents. Local papers carried lighter notes too. Reports of community fairs, prize-winning pies, or small-town parades shared space with weightier international events. Cartoon strips such as Popeye and Felix the Cat added humor to the pages, while advice columns offered comfort and guidance. Imagine opening the paper in July and reading, "Rain finally brings relief to parched farmlands," or in November, "Shoppers prepare for Christmas rush." The rhythm of headlines echoed the rhythm of life, both extraordinary and ordinary, grand and gently familiar. People born and people died. 1927 welcomed many who would shape the future. In that year, American poet Maya Angelou was born, whose voice would one day sing with strength and wisdom. Television pioneer Philo Farnsworth, though already a young man, filed key patents that year, paving the way for a new medium. Other births included Eartha Kitt, who would enchant the world with her singing and acting, and Harry Belafonte, whose voice would bring calypso rhythms to international audiences. 1927 also marked farewells. The legendary dancer and spy Mata Hari had been executed the year before, but in this year the world said goodbye to silent film star Florence Lawrence and inventor Elihu Thomson. Their contributions, in art, in science, remain like echoes across time. Each birth and death added threads to the fabric of history, reminding us that years are measured not only in events but in lives lived, begun, and remembered. As 1927 drew to a close, the world seemed to exhale, caught between the old and the new. The memory of war still lingered, yet the future shimmered with promise. Radios glowed in living rooms, cinemas echoed with voices for the first time, and airplanes stitched continents together. Families gathered for the holidays, stringing decorations, baking sweets and exchanging small gifts. Snow fell softly over northern towns, while in warmer places, breezes carried scents of citrus and spice. In every corner of the globe, people closed the year with the same quiet hopes: health, peace, and a touch of prosperity. The calendar would soon turn to 1928, carrying with it both certainty and mystery. But for a moment, the year 1927 rested like a lantern in the dark, glowing gently, illuminating paths taken and paths yet to come. Thank you, dear listener, for drifting through 1927 with me tonight. I hope these gentle stories have wrapped around you like a blanket, easing your mind and guiding you toward rest. If you enjoyed this journey, I invite you to softly tap the like button and to subscribe for more lullabies from history. Each episode is a small window into another time, a quiet companion for your evenings. May your dreams tonight be peaceful, your rest deep, and your spirit light. Until next time, when we turn the page to 1928, I wish you good night from me, Toro, and from the soft, ever-whispering world of history.